Here are the top stories for today, November 22, 2019. President Duterte defends tobacco use for being a source of taxes amid criticism of his e-cigarette ban. PDEA Chief Aquino asks President Duterte to define the full function of Vice President Leni Robredo as anti-drug czar. The military blames the communist movement for the inclusion of the Philippines in the Global Terrorism Index. And the Department of Tourism seeks to invite more international chefs to promote Filipino food tourism. Good day, I'm Bench Bondok. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story tonight, President Rodrigo Duterte explains why he cannot ban the use of tobacco products and justifies his order against e-cigarettes. Jenny Scave starts us off.
President Duterte on Thursday explained why he is banning the importation of electronic cigarettes and vaping devices but allows the manufacture and importation of tobacco. He said the manufacture and importation of tobacco are being taxed and regulated by the government, unlike e-cigarettes or vapes.
Cigarette, it's allowed. Why cannot we ban cigarette? Why? Because we allow its manufacture and maybe the importation of tobacco. We allow it, pinapayagan natin, tapos we tax them. So yung produce nila, yung sigarilyo na lumalabas sa factory, hindi natin mapigilan. Kaya pagbili na sila sa tao, wala. Pero sabi ko, harmful yan. So hindi mo magamit yan kung saan-saan. Noon marami, pati ako nag-sigarilyo eh. Pero pagdating ng panahon, hindi dyan sa hagdanan. Paghanap ka talaga saan, karamihan yan, wag rin sa kubita dyan sa loob ng building. Pag maamoy, wala.
The president said puffing tobacco products are harmful but admitted that he had no choice but allow it. Vaping products became popular in the Philippines because smokers think that it was a healthier alternative to tobaccos. On Tuesday, Duterte announced that he would no longer allow the use of electronic cigarettes due to potentially serious health risks of vaping. Justifying his ban order, the president said vaping devices, like regular cigarettes, contain nicotine, one of the most addictive drugs that are dangerous to the public's health. Duterte added that vaping devices have unknown chemicals that could also be harmful.
Itong vaping, may nicotine. Kung hindi ka ba may nicotine, pero may nilagay kayo ng mga flavoring dyan at mga hindi ko alam kung ano. Hindi mo kasi inimport yan, dinaano sa FDA. Ang hinahabol ko ang nicotine. Sabi lang anong vaping, anong illegal, nicotine yan. Tapos may chemicals dyan na hindi ko alam kung ano. At pinapatay ninyo ang mga anak natin.
On May 16, 2017, Duterte signed Executive Order No. 26, which mandates the establishment of designated smoking areas in an open space or an enclosed area with proper ventilation. The President also signed on July 25 Republic Act 11346, which raises the excise tax on tobacco products as part of the government's efforts to discourage the public from smoking and generate additional revenues. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Meanwhile, lawmakers are looking into higher taxes on electronic cigarettes and vaping products. Senator Pia Cayetano on Thursday said she would still continue to push for the passage of a measure, saying taxation is just one tool that would help curb these new kinds of vices. Cayetano noted that the e-cigarette industry was previously given the opportunity to work and thresh out issues with the government, but chose to question the regulations set by the Department of Health. This, she said, earned the ire of the president, giving him the impression that they do not want to be regulated. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives would also propose the imposition of higher taxes on vaping products. Albay Representative Joey Salceda said raising taxes for vaping products is justifiable since there are far fewer vape users than tobacco smokers. He said vaping products might go for a higher rate of 45 pesos per ml from 25 pesos per ml, which is the original proposal of the Department of Finance. President Duterte on Thursday praised Taguig City's 2nd District Representative Lani Cayetano for prioritizing the needs of the elderly, which he said were close to his heart. Duterte made this remark in a speech during the launch of the Elderly Program Center at the Taguig Center for the Elderly.
The Filipino elderly are indeed close to my heart, not only because I am one of them, but especially because I understand how much effort they exert just to give their children a better life. I thank the city government of Taguig for organizing this event and for taking the initiative to provide the needs for our senior citizens.
President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday said it is better to have a warehouse filled with excess rice than a shortage where people starve and farmers are at a losing end. Duterte made this remark after he asked Agriculture Secretary William Dar and the Congress to appropriate money to buy rice from local farmers on November 19.
Ito si producer, may pinoproduce para sa mga consumers, pagkain, bigas. Ang problema, hanggang dito lang siya. Hindi mo maasahan, sabihin mong hindi ka mag-import, delikado yan. Dumaan tayo ng ilang buwan o ilang taon yun. Ang mga tao naninervyos na. Kaya sabi ko kay Manny Piñol, itaas mo yan hanggang sa ceiling. Anyone, libre mag-import. Tapos, about ito, sabi nila, paano kami, yung aming produce? Sabi ko, para walang gulo, sabi ko kay Dar, bilihin mo lahat. Kung mataas ng presyo kaysa imported rice, huwag na mali, bilihin mo. Pataasan mo doon sa imported rice. Ngayon, kunin mo lahat, lagay mo sa bodega natin. Ang mangyari, magsubra-sobra ating bigas. So what's the problem? Kainin mo rin yan. Di unahin yung old stock. Total, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Kumakain tayo lahat. Nalugi ang gobyerno kasi bumili ng mahal. So, lugi tayo. Magkano? Siguro mga 2 billion. Oh, di lugi. Sinong nalugi? Sila. Pera man nila yung binili ng gas nila. Kayo, ako, tayong Pilipino. Pero ang mga producers, napaligaya natin.
Still to come, PDEA Chief Aaron Aquino asks President Duterte to define the full function of Vice President Leni Robredo as anti-drug czar. And authorities file a case of violation of international humanitarian law against the New People's Army. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente.
November 1, Biyernes. Nagtungong Thailand si Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte kasama ang kanyang delegasyon upang dumalo sa 35th Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit. November 2, Sabado, Nonthaburi, Thailand. Nakilahok ang Pangulo sa 35th ASEAN Summit Plenary. Sinaksihan din niya at ng iba pang ASEAN leaders ang pagpirma sa Memorandum of Understanding sa pagitan ng ASEAN at Federation International de Football Association. November 3, Linggo, Nonthaburi, Thailand. Dumalo si Pangulong Duterte at iba pang ASEAN leaders sa opening ceremony ng 35th ASEAN Summit. Sinundan ito ng 16th ASEAN-India Summit, 22nd ASEAN-China Summit at 10th ASEAN-UN Summit. November 4, Lunes, Nonthaburi, Thailand. Sa special lunch on sustainable development ay nanawagan si Pangulong Duterte sa ibang bansa na itigil ang pagtatambak ng basura sa ilang developing Asian countries kagaya ng Pilipinas. Inihayag naman niya sa 14th East Asia Summit ang pagsuporta sa open and inclusive regional order kung saan nananaig ang rule of law, Nagkaroon ng bilateral meeting sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at Japan sa paunguna ni Pangulong Duterte at Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Nakilahok din ng Pangulo sa 22nd ASEAN Plus 3 Summit at 22nd ASEAN-Japan Summit. November 6, Miyerkules, Malacanang. Pinangunahan ni Pangulong Duterte ang 43rd Cabinet Meeting na ginanap sa Aguinaldo State Dining Room. Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar at ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
The Presidential Communications Operations Office.
PDEA Director General Aaron Aquino on Thursday said he has written President Duterte to define the scope of function of Vice President Leni Robredo in the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs. Robredo and Aquino were guests at the 3rd anniversary celebration of the Bahay Pagbabago Community-Based Drug Reformation Center in Bataan, where 957 former drug dependents graduated. Aquino said it would be better to know the scope of authority of Robredo, who is his co-chair in the ICAD. He said they are gradually teaching Robredo in the anti-drug campaign, considering that the Vice President has no previous experience in working and dealing with law enforcement agencies. Meanwhile, Robredo said they are now spending most of their time in letting every Filipino know that it is the problem of everyone so that we could help each other in finding a solution. The Vice President also cited the importance of giving attention to the prevention and not only eradication of the drug problem. Authorities have filed a case of violation of international humanitarian law against the New People's Army. This may be the first of many cases the NPA may face for committing atrocities against civilians. More on this from Rechi Tacuba.
The Regional Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict or RTF-LCAC in northern Mindanao has officially filed the first International Humanitarian Law or IHL violation case against the New People's Army or NPA. Through the Army's 403rd Infantry Brigade and the Office of the Regional State Prosecutor, the case was filed Wednesday before the Regional Trial Court Branch 25, the court designated to hear IHL-related cases in the region. Bukidnon Provincial Prosecutor Romel Alonto said the case was in connection with the attack perpetrated by NPA members in Sitio Aurora, Barangay Santo Niño in Manolo Fortich, Bukidnon on May 28, 2019.
Siya i-subject sa isa ka cruel or inhumane treatment kaya i-threaten siya, itiunan siya pusil, no? Ipasakitan siya, o mayo, dayon, ipabuthan po. Kani si Ramiro Melgo Restaro, isa na ni siya kabarangay tanod dito sa ilang sityo.
At ito pong insidente na ito ay inamin ng nagpakilalang spokesperson ng North Central Mindanao Regional Committee na si Pia Paraiso na i-document po natin yung mga pangyayaring yun at meron pong mga witnesses at mismong biktima at nakilala nila kung sino yung gumawa ng karahasan sa kanila.
De Leon added that they are preparing more IHL-related violation cases against the NPA under NCMRC to stop their continuous violence against civilians.
Hindi po pinapayagan ng IHL na idamay ang mga sibilyan. So sa ilalim po ng International Humanitarian Law, ang mga biktima ng karahasan ng NPA ay entitled na magkaroon ng indemnification. At aside from that, dapat po yung mga gumawa ng karahasan ay dapat mabigyan ng sentensyang kriminal. Kami po mga kasundaluhan ay covered din ng International Humanitarian Law. Ang aming pong rules of engagement ay nakaayon sa International Humanitarian Law. Kapag meron po kaming operation, ang unang-una po namin tinitingnan, ang aming operation ay naayon sa mga provision ng International Humanitarian Law. Yun po dapat din ang ginagawa ng party to the armed conflict, which is yung New People's Army. Dapat po lahat ng kanilang pagkilos kahit naayon sa international humanitarian law.
Regional State Prosecutor Merlin Uy said it is high time for the government to file an IHL case so that the NPA leadership and members who may be responsible may be held accountable under the law.
Once we find probable cause and we find the information in court, we take the side of the government and we represent the government in prosecuting all these offenders to the fullest extent of the law.
For the PNA Newsroom, Retchi Paculba, Philippine Information Agency, Cagayan de Oro.
Major General Antonio Parlade Jr. of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict said various atrocities committed by the communist rebels and their allies are the reasons why the Philippines is at the 10th spot of the Global Terrorism Index. While the AFP almost contained the terror problem of the Abu Sayyaf group, Parlade said the CPP-NPA are still making violent attacks in the countryside as part of their senseless terror campaign aimed at destabilizing peace. He adds that insurgency is the milking cow of the CPP by corrupting our system through intimidation and extortion. Parlade also hit the CPP-NPA, saying the rebel group recruits children as young as 12 years old for their terroristic agenda but are getting away with it through their allies in the House of Representatives. He said the communist rebels are using stories of alleged human rights abuses of state forces and red tagging to further expound their agenda. In line with ongoing efforts against terrorism, Parlade said the NTF-LCAC will help in the amendment of the Human Security Act. Dumaguete police have recovered the fake plate numbers used on the vehicle of the suspects in the murder of veteran journalist Mercedarius Dindo Generoso. The fake plates were found on Wednesday inside the Strada pickup truck, which the police had previously taken into custody after Generoso's murder. Video footage showed that the vehicle was parked where the purported gunman disembarked and transferred to a waiting motorcycle before following and firing at Generoso. Also recovered was the vehicle's official receipt and certificate of registration issued in the name of Tomasino Aledro and some personal effects. The pickup truck was found abandoned in West Balabag after Generoso was shot dead on November 7. Aledro is among the 4 suspects who have been charged with murder, but his whereabouts remain unknown to date. Aledro's brother-in-law, Teddy Salao, the alleged driver of the pickup truck, retired policeman Glenn Colsame, the alleged motorcycle driver, and Police Corporal Roger Rubio, the alleged triggerman, are now in police custody. San Miguel Holdings Corporation vows to provide jobs for Bulaqueños in the construction of the new Manila International Airport in Bulacan. Meanwhile, 3 local government units in Iloilo are now declared as drug-cleared. Our provincial headlines from Teresa Montemayor.
Thousands of Bulaqueños will benefit from the construction of the new Manila International Airport project in Bulacan by December this year. San Miguel Holdings Corporation said that Bulaqueños will be the priority in the hiring of workers for the construction. The Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry will help in the hiring of an initial 10,000 Bulaqueños to work at the airport. In Iloilo, 3 local government units are now declared by the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA as drug-cleared. PDEA said all of the villages in the municipalities of Miagao and Igbaras and Iloilo's component city of Pasig are declared unaffected. The local government units have established their respective balay silangan that will cater to the rehabilitation of the drug surrenderers. PDEA said the public expects more local government units in the region to follow suit. Meanwhile, over 100 Bajaos begging in the downtown area of Tacloban City have returned to their community in Bato, Leyte. The city government met with over 100 Bajaos last month and asked them to leave the city as they are exposed to risks like accidents and other health hazards. It noted that some of the Bajaos are even beneficiaries of the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. The Bajaos have been repeatedly rescued from the streets and sent back to their homes, but they still come back to capitalize on the Christmas season. In other news, the Department of Health has declared 3 municipalities in Olotonga Island, Zamboanga, Sibugay as rabies-free after hitting a zero record for 2 years in a row. The towns of Olotonga, Mabuhay, and Talusan are among those honored during the 2019 Dugong Bayani Awards on Friday, November 22. The awarding ceremony aims to recognize the 3 towns for their unwavering support, tireless dedication, and excellent implementation of the rabies program. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Teresa Montemayor.
More stories from the newsroom. The Department of Transportation is set to operationalize ferry boat routes between Cavite and Metro Manila. And the Department of Tourism seeks to invite more international chefs to promote Filipino food tourism. These stories are next. Stay with the PNA Newsroom.
When it comes to economy and the commercial ties between Korea and the Philippines, now the Korea is the fourth largest trading partner of the Philippines. Last year, our trade volume reached $15.7 billion, increasing by 9.2% compared to previous year. And Korea remains the third largest investors to the Philippines. So our total amount of investment since 1970s account to about $6 billion. But you have a wonderful policy under the slogan of build, build, build. That's the reason why, whenever I meet Korean businessmen, I ask them to invest in the Philippines, in accordance with President Duterte's build, build, build slogan.
The Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, through Commissioner Greco Belhica, formally launched a Katarungan desk for the City of Manila in a ceremony at the Manila City Hall on Thursday. According to Belhica, the Katarungan desk aims to curb corruption by enticing the public to send their complaints to the PACC or concerned government agencies. He said the complaint or report they will receive will be treated with confidentiality and will undergo verification and investigation before being submitted to the Office of the President for appropriate action. To help ease traffic congestion in Metro Manila, the Department of Transportation, through the Maritime Industry Authority, is set to operationalize the ferry boat routes between Cavite and Metro Manila. The routes that will become operational covers Phase 1 from Metro Star Ferry Terminal to SM Mall of Asia Ferry Terminal, Phase 1 from Metro Star Ferry Terminal to CCP Port, Phase 2 which spans from Metro Star Ferry Terminal to Escolta, Manila, and Phase 2 from Metro Star Ferry Terminal to Loton Ferry Terminal. The dry run for Phase 1 of the Cavite to Metro Manila routes is expected in the first week of December this year. Selected shipping companies also showed their interest in participating in the operationalization of these routes. Seeing the potential of Filipino cuisine boosting the country's tourism industry, the Department of Tourism on Thursday vowed to draw in more prominent international chefs to promote local food abroad. Among the tourism efforts the DOT will pursue is the Chef's Food Trip, featuring US-based film chefs Tom Cunanan, Lanay Tabura, and Charles Olalia. Since November 10, the chefs have been touring around Manila, Pampanga, Iloilo, Bacolod, and Davao, and immersing themselves with the country's rich culinary scene. Tourism Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat said the DOT has identified culinary tourism as a key product in the National Tourism Development Plan 2016 to 2022. The United Nations World Tourism Organization had also reported that food is a central part of the tourism experience. Through the Chef's Food Trip project, Romulo Puyat hopes to create an army of food tourism ambassadors and inspire more chefs to bear the Philippine flag through their creations abroad. And before we go, here now is the latest in our community billboard. The DTI Calabarzon is bringing the region's unique products this December in Mandaluyong City. The DTI is calling on all enthusiasts looking for unique offerings from Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, and Quezon to visit its annual Kalakal Calabarzon 2019. Some 180 expected exhibitors will showcase the products of the MSMEs that have undergone DTI's programs. Several new features are added in the fair, like the Choco Cafeteria Pavilion featuring the region's coffee and tablea, and the food alley featuring the cooked food sector. There will also be 5 boot campers under the Homegrown Brands Acceleration Franchise Formation Inception Program, plus several training sessions to be provided with the support of partner government agencies. The trade fair will be staged at the SM Mega Mall Mega Trade Halls 1 and 2, 5th level from December 4 to 8. Severe tropical storm Sara is on its way out of the country. Let's now check out the weather forecast from Pagasa.
Magandang hapon, ito na yung update natin. Dito pa rin sa binabati natin si Tropical Storm Sara as of 5 p.m. today. So ito yung ating satellite images. So nakikita natin talaga na tuluyan ng kumikilos palayo ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility. Ito nga si Bagyong Sara. And as of 3 p.m. kanina, ito yung natin yung nasa layong 530 kilometers. Hilagang silangan niya ng Basco, Batanes. Nagtataglay pa rin ng hangin aabot ng 85 kilometers per malapit sa gitna at may pagbugso na aabot naman sa 105 kilometers per hour. Ito ay kumikilos na ng pahilagang silangan sa bilis pa rin ng 15 kilometro kada oras. So since lumalayo na itong bagyong si Sara, wala siya nagiging direktang epekto sa anumang bahagi ng ating bansa. Kaya nga nakapasok na ulit yung epekto ng ating amihan, yung ating northeast monsoon na nakakapekto na ngayon dito sa northern at central Luzon. At kung mapapansin din natin dito sa ating satellite imagery nga, so may mga kaulapang nasa ibabaw ngayon ng Aurora, Bicol region dito sa may central Luzon at dito rin sa Metro Manila. So sa ngayon, nakataas pa rin nga yung gale warning natin dito pa rin sa Batanes, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Cagayan at Isabela. Kaya patuloy natin pinapayuhan ng ating mga kababayan, especially mga kababayan mangingisda at may mga maliliit na sasakyang pandagat, na huwag munang pumalawot sa mga nasabi lugar at ganoon din mapanganib ng bumiyahid. Especially dito sa northern section ng ating bansa dahil may inaasahan pa nga rin tayong mga malalaking pag-alon. So northeast monsoon na ngayon na magdadala pa rin ng scattered rain showers and thunderstorm over the Bicol region, Aurora, and Quezon ngayong araw. Samantalang light to moderate rains naman ang aasahan natin dito para sa Metro Manila at lalabing bahagi nga ng Central Luzon.
Here's another look at today's biggest stories. President Duterte defends tobacco use for being a source of taxes amid criticism of his e-cigarette ban. PDEA Chief Aaron Aquino asks President Duterte to define the full function of Vice President Leni Robredo as anti-drug czar. The military blames the communist movement for the inclusion of the Philippines in the Global Terrorism Index. And the Department of Tourism seeks to invite more international chefs to promote Filipino food tourism. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. Mark your calendars, it's just 33 days to go before Christmas. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Bench Bondok. Have a great weekend.